He was just a boy from Madeira, waking at dawn, training with torn shoes, eating what little his mother could spare. When he moved to Lisbon at 12, he cried every night, alone, broke, missing home. But he never stopped running, not from pain, but toward greatness. Now, he's one of football's immortals. But when you watch him cry during the anthem, you see the boy is still there, not forgotten, just grown. She was born into poverty, pregnant at, the world tried to silence her. But she found power in her voice and gave millions the courage to find theirs. Behind every interview, every camera flash, there's a little girl who once read poetry aloud in a shack, believing words could change the world. She was right. At 7, his parents left him at a harsh Chinese opera school. Discipline meant pain, and pain meant survival. He was beaten, overworked, ignored. But inside this child was rhythm, comedy, and fire. He turned suffering into stunts, bruises into brilliance. Jackie didn't just rise. He flew, flipped, laughed, and kicked his way into history. Now, he's still doing his own stunts, because pain never scared him. Silence did. She wasn't raised for power. Born in East Germany, she grew up behind the wall, in gray concrete silence. No spotlight, no stage. Just books, thought, and waiting. When the wall fell, she walked through it, with purpose. She never shouted, she never posed. But for 16 years, the world listened. And when they asked how she led Europe through crisis after crisis, she simply said, "I did the work." He was 5 and already magical with the ball, but too small, too fragile. Doctors said he'd never make it. His family couldn't afford the treatment, but he kept playing. Barefoot, breathless, brilliant. Then one club said yes. That yes changed football forever. He doesn't shout, he doesn't boast. But when he runs, he reminds the world. The quiet ones often carry the loudest light. He wasn't chasing fame, just a quiet Vietnamese coder making games in his room. One night, he uploaded a simple game with a flapping bird. It exploded. Millions played, billions raged. Fame called, money shouted. But dung unplugged. He pulled the game, vanished. Not because he failed, but because peace was more valuable than profit. And in silence, he became a legend. She wanted to go to school. In her village, that was a crime. At 15, she was shot in the head for speaking up, but her voice refused to die. She recovered, stronger, spoke louder. Today, she stands in halls of power speaking for millions of silent girls. Malala didn't just survive, she became a movement wrapped in a school uniform and scar. Her voice rose from Barbados. Before the makeup empire, before the stadiums, she was a teenager selling clothes on the street to help her mom. Music found her. She found herself. Now she's a billionaire mogul. But behind the glam, there's still the island girl who never forgot home. And every Sunday, she still calls her mother. Fame changed her. Roots grounded her. He once bounced drunk men from clubs in Buenos Aires. Before the white robe, there was darkness, doubt, dancing, dirt. He smoked. He fell in love. And then he found something deeper. Not power, but service. Now, as Pope, he lives in a guest house, rides a Ford, and washes prisoners' feet. Not because he is better, but because he remembers. He loved numbers as a boy in Hanoi. While others played football, he solved problems that made teachers pause. At 18, he left for Paris with a suitcase and a scholarship. He returned decades later, with the Fields Medal in hand. He could have stayed abroad, but he came home to teach. Because genius means little if it doesn't illuminate others. He lost his best friend, his daughter, then his partner. He slept on park benches, rode the subway in silence, but never complained. He held doors, gave quietly. Behind the stunts and suits was a man choosing dignity over drama, again and again. Keanu doesn't act kind. He simply is. She sang in empty cafes. At 14, they told her she was too country, too emotional. She wrote anyway. About heartbreak, hope, and being young in a world that doesn't listen. Now, she fills stadiums. But every time she says thank you on stage, you still see the girl who just wanted to be heard. He grew up in the rough parts of Malmö, an immigrant kid with a temper, stealing bikes for fun. No one expected much. Just another problem child. But Zlatan fought his way to the top, goal by impossible goal. He doesn't ask for permission. He kicks down doors. And every roar he makes echoes the boy they said would never become anything. They laughed at her nose, mocked her voice, said she'd never be more than a weirdo in heels. So she wrote, sang, performed. Bleeding emotion in every note. Now she's an Oscar winner and a champion for those who don't fit in. Lady Gaga turned pain into performance and showed the world. Weird wins. He was raised by a single mother, a boy who never fully belonged, not black enough, not white enough. He studied hard, spoke softly. When he first ran for office, they said, America's not ready. But hope was. And in 2008, a name many struggled to pronounce, lit up the world. He didn't promise perfection, only progress, step by step, word by word.